Right, the next thing that we're going to talk about is going to be something that's actually going to tie our empirical probability to our theoretical probability. And that's something that we are going to talk about is going to be called the law of large numbers. The law of large numbers states that probability statements apply in practice to a large number of trials, not a single trial. It is a relative frequency over the long run that is accurate and predictable, not individual events or precise totals. In other words, the law of large numbers states that if an experiment with a random outcome is repeated a large number of times, the empirical probability of an event is likely to be close to the true probability. The larger number of the repetitions, the closer the empirical and theoretical probabilities will be. So underneath here, we see just a little image. So what this image is showing is how many times a coin is flipped and whether our coin lands heads up. And if we look at this, as we continue to move towards 1,000 trials, we see that our probability, instead of being kind of all over the place, a little too high or jumping around, it gets closer and closer to our value of 1/2 or 0.5. Right? And if we think about it, the chance of flipping a coin and landing heads is 1 out of 2 or 0.5. So the more times that our experiment happens, so the larger number of trials that we have flipping a coin, the closer and closer our empirical probability gets to our theoretical probability. Right? So I'm just going to kind of summarize that in a sentence. We will say that the empirical probability eventually settles down to 0.5, right, which is the theoretical probability. Right? So the more times an experiment is repeated, the closer and closer we get, our empirical probability becomes to our theoretical probability.